Okay, so hello everyone. Now we know the strategy has been automated. It's time to talk about edge and how to improve the edge. So I'll show the strategy in a second on the charts so you can see an actual example. It's a breakout strategy with 5 minute candles. However, I've had profitable weeks with it and I've had unprofitable weeks with it. So I'm gonna have to start looking at the edge, and I'm not actually sure I'll have time to do this for a long time, but it's good to at least put it out there. What are some improvements that I can make, or how I could tweak it to, improve the winning rate or maybe the profits. So we're gonna go to the charts now, and we're gonna look at different examples of where I'm thinking I could change it, or if I should change it at all. Yeah. Let's take this trade for an example. Okay, so first of all, let's explain the strategy. This is all automated, so I didn't really do any of the drawings on the chart. They just do it by themselves with a code, and then I get alerts on Pine Connector, and then Pine Connector send those alerts to MT5, which is connected to my broker, and it just executes the trades, closes, TP, stop loss, everything. So this trade, basically this was the morning session. So we mark the zone from 7 a.m. to 7:15, the lows and the highs. And then when a candle breaks out of the zone, we take notice. And then if it closes outside the zone, we take notice. Now, if a second candle closes outside the zone, then we enter the trade. It's marked here, but the trade was actually entered here. So let's see if it corresponds. I mean, I know it does, but stop loss is just below the zone with some buffer. And then, okay, so, oh, sorry, this candle. Oops. There you go. 1 to 1. So this is the single candle that closed outside, and then as soon as this candle closes outside, we enter the trade here in this place here. And this trade went to TP, so okay, that's great. But now to change the edge, there are several things that we could do. So for example, one thing that we could do is change the RR ratio. So for example, the TP could be higher. And the way to test all of these, or I'll talk about that later. But anyways, one other way is, instead of entering on the second candle that closes outside the zone, we could enter on the first candle that closes outside the zone. So as soon as a candle closes outside the zone, then on the next one you enter. I don't really like the idea of that because I think it is a bit risky, as a lot of candles just close outside and then go straight back inside. Let's see if I can find an example of that. I don't know. But anyways, it does happen. And then there are also sessions, most sessions, there's more than one trade taken. So basically what happened here is I entered the trade here, and then stop loss got hit, and then after that the system is still valid. So if the candle now breaks out on the other side of the zone, it's still valid. It can still enter a trade in the opposite direction, which is what happened here, and I think it went to TP just barely. I think it did. So, oh no, I remember this. It went to TP, but then it didn't get hit for some reason. To be fair, it barely touched it. So, yeah. So another way to change the edge could be, should we maybe take just one trade per session? So if this one doesn't go right, then that's it. I don't know. That's something that I'm gonna have to test. And then another way is, okay, right now I'm using the 15-minute zone, as in I'm using from 7 to 7:15, and then the 5-minute candles to enter and everything. Another way another thing that we could test is, I don't know why I'm saying we, like it's a team, it's just me, but another thing that I could test is, should I, instead of using the 5-minute candles, use the 1-minute candle, for example? And I guess the same can be said about, maybe instead of using the 5-minute candle, I can use the 15-minute candle, but then I don't really want to do that because this is kind of intraday and I like being able to take multiple trades per session at this point, at this moment in time. So 50-minute candle, then the session will just go a lot quicker and I would miss a lot of movement. And changing to the 1-minute candle could be a way to kind of capture more of that movement, but at the same time, we would also get more noise. So there's things that you have to consider for every change you make, basically. And then another way could be, well, for example, let's say when we get to 50% of the profit, we take partial profit. And then we could even move the stop loss to break even. I don't know if that's something I really want to do. It is also harder in terms of coding it because all of these other ones, changing the ratio, I just have to change one number in the code. Changing the candles, it's a few numbers, but then again, it's relatively simple. Only one session per trade, only one trade per session, sorry, is also quite simple. Changing the time of the zones is quite simple. Or also if I wanted to, for example, only trade one session, so just the morning or just afternoon, or maybe if I want to add even another session, the evening session, so the Tokyo session, that is also relatively easy because it would just be copying and pasting the code from these two sessions basically. But changing taking partial profits at 50% of the trade is actually something that requires a bit more coding. It's not like I would do any of the code anyways. This was entirely done by AI, so I just kind of feed it the information. So anyways, these are all ideas that I have. I'm sure there's more and I left something out. But the issue here really is I don't have time to test these right now, and also it is hard to test them because it takes weeks to obviously get data. I can backtest automatically, but it's also just not the same. And so I don't know when I'm gonna have the time or the resources to do this. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. I'm making this whole video, but I don't actually know if I'm gonna be able to test this. But again, like I said, it's good to have the ideas out. And again, there's more. There's more that I could test. We will see. We will see. For now, these were like 5 or 6 ideas of things I can do to improve the edge. And yeah, these might seem like minor changes, but they can compound and make a big difference. Oh, and also one other thing is the pairs. The pairs that you use. There are some pairs, I've seen this in like automated backtesting on TradingView. So basically, I coded the indicator, but then you can also code the strategy. Okay, look, there you go. This is the strategy coded, and it kind of just replicates the trades here. It's the same exact strategy as the indicator. And so there are pairs here that just have much better performance than others consistently over the months. Like I've tested these pairs in August and now it's February and I tested them again and they still have a better performance than others. So those are the pairs that I'll be looking at. But you can also change the pairs or add the pairs or switch the pairs, anything. But again, it takes a lot of time and you really need to be focused every day on what you're doing. And I don't know when I'm gonna have the opportunity to do that, but I will eventually. And it's good that I'm putting down the ideas anyways. Okay, I said it like 3 times now, so I think that's enough. Yeah, that's all I had to say today.